So I want to touch on the most important question that I'm sure you've been asked many, many, many times. Why has Gimp 3 taken so long?
Well, it has taken quite a few years, but there are also a lot of kind of weird way of counting, in my opinion, at least. Like, for instance, I was saying earlier, some people will say like, "Oh yeah, 30 years to get to GIMP 3." Like basically they count like GIMP 2.0, which was you said I think in 2004, right?
Yes.
And so you say like 2004 to 2025 to make one release, but as I say, it's not one release. A lot of happen, and even this you can like some people will say, "Oh, we first heard about uh, Game 3 and everything in like 15 years ago or something like that." But like when you actually look at the repository as a branch, a Game 3 branch, I think I may, but it's around there. I may say something stupid, but I think it was around 2012 that it started to branch out. Um, so which means about the time when GIMP 2.8 was released. And actually, and when you count the number of commits, basically, I'm not going to give a number because I will probably be wrong, but it's very few commits. I mean, comparatively to what happened after, between like basically this time and 2018, when we really started to work on Game 3 after 2.10 release. So like they were like basically it was like they were basically at this point it was the state I was talking about where the GIMP would build with GTK3 basically. So the work before 2010 was just well, I mean, not 10 commits, but like I don't remember, but like a few dozen or whatever, like to make the code work on GIMP or GTK3. But actually, the real work, really, the bigger part of the work was 2018. So it's still a lot of years, 2018 to 2025, but it's not like some people will say like it took like 15 years or 20 years or whatever. So and then so still why 2018 to 2025? Well, it's a lot of work, and basically, and we wanted like there were a few blockers when we had like basically when we had like warnings, like thousands of warnings. I mean, for us, it was not acceptable. Some people will say like, "Hey, it works." You have a GTK3 build. Like, of course, people don't see the warnings because they don't compile, right? But like for us, we wanted like to not release with all the warnings. So that's why like some of the stuff like the GTK action, GIMP action call, like which took like a few months of work and everything, and that kind of stuff which nobody was actually working on really. Basically, nobody wanted to work on this, right? So most of us were doing other stuff, basically for GIMP. But I mean, like we're implementing nice features and like cool stuff. And then at some point say, yeah, but then we still need to do this, and then we do this, and then after we do something else, and so yeah, and like okay, yeah, there was also this the API. API was so it's not something very visible to like the end user, but it's very important. GIMP has so it's kind of a platform also because we have plugins and everything. And so we have an API, libgimp, and we actually we are quite strict about our API to be stable. So like basically it means once a plugin made in GIMP 3.0 made for GIMP 3.0 has been made, it should still work for like 325, 26. So basically, right, there may be deprecations going on. So when there will be a deprecation, they will build it for Gimp 326. It maybe have a bunch of deprecated warnings, but it will still build and it will still work. So this kind of stuff. So it means that, and since we changed quite a lot of stuff, Gimp 3 API is not compatible with Gimp 2. We wanted to get it right, basically, because we broke everything already. We don't want to break stuff again. If possible, maybe Gimp 4 can be still compatible with Gimp 3. I mean the API, if we did it right. So yeah, that's something which really wanted to. We wanted to. That took a lot of time. That's not as visible. Nobody, I mean, except plugin developers, nobody sees this, but it's, yeah, that's the kind of stuff where I spent many hours, like just checking every function and thinking, is it the best way, or is it the best logic and everything, and maybe should I rename it somewhere, something else, or of course, not only this, there are problems we knew about, and then we needed to fix them in the API. Yeah, a lot of this kind of stuff.
So, as for stuff that's more visible to the user, were things like the space invasion work and non-destructive editing and the improvements to multi-layer selection, things like that, was that always the intention to bring that along with the first release of Gimp 3, or is that something that got added into the plan later on?
So, space invasion, yes.
For anyone who's not aware of what space invasion is, sorry, I've been using that term. For anyone who doesn't know what that actually means, can you just do a brief explanation for?
Yeah, I actually space invasion. I can explain a bit what it is, but it's actually something which probably not visible. I mean, it's very visible to people who care,
sure,
but it's not visible to most people, the ones who just want to do like quick edits. Basically, space invasion is like to be able to work with unicolor spaces and everything, and like for and do it right, correct mathematics, basically, and so it started like it actually started maybe like 2010, or I mean like many years ago, and like actually it was added in bits in every version of Gimp, so it's like continuous effort. It's not Gimp 3 has space invasions. They were also in Gimp 8 to 8 and Gimp to 10, and in every small micro release, maybe they were like fixed about basically color correctness. And so this one was always planned, but it's kind of like basically long-term stuff. It's adding CMYK as a core image format in the not just for export, but like an image format which you can work with in Gimp will be a part of space invasion. So it's not in Gimp 3, but when we will add this, that's kind of stuff which we consider part of space invasion. So non-destructive effects. No, that was planned for 3.2. Actually, that was the whole stuff. Like there was a whole, like 3.0 is about GTK3 and 3.2 is about layer effects, basically.
Right.
So and we had this contributor, one of the main contributors now. So it goes, they go by many nicknames. Is like CMYK student.
I didn't know it was their work. Okay.
Yeah, CMYK student, or like Nick CDC on IRC, and Alex AC, same person. So, so this person did a lot of very cool stuff, and one of them was on Google Summer of Code. They work on completing the UI part of for the effects. So it was not perfect since we are still like fixing stuff, but it's also work in progress. And like at some point we thought that it was kind of good enough to be like, oh yeah, like we could like kind of stick to the plan and go for 3.2, or we could just say like it's just too cool to just like kind of delay this just because there was a plan made by some guys 10 years ago.
Right.
Basically. So we merged it, and now since then we still to this day, like I was just this morning looking at some code. We are fixing stuff around this because a lot of basically it's a lot of assumption in code that all because the code was already there. It's all the Gecko engine. The UI was not there, and but like until now, basically the code was like you made an effect, and it was already a node about our layer, and but the assumption was that it was going to be matched, right? Or whatever you do, either you cancel your effect or you match it, and then it's inside the layer. But then this assumption is not right anymore. So like that's why now we have a bunch of places where like clearly we didn't think about this here because of course there was not supposed to be a layer effect node above this, and so yeah, this was not planned, but it's just it's just how things go, and I think it's kind of good illustration of what I was saying earlier about like just do it, and like and it's also again an illustration of the community side, because we do plans because it's also for us. Plans is mostly for us actually. It's because it helps us to organize, right? But our plans are not like rocks. That kind of stuff is like company way of doing stuff because they have like thousands of people, and the organization needs to be maybe a bit stricter. Basically, you cannot just not everybody can like just do random stuff, or maybe I don't see why. Maybe in companies it could also be more flexible, I guess. But for us, we're just a bunch of people and everything, and like our roadmaps, for instance, they basically just reflect what currently active developers are interested in. They are not like actually like promise or real, and basically a lot of items in the roadmap could like either disappear tomorrow if like a contributor wanted to work on this disappear, or like new roadmap items can appear, basically. And that's what happened for the non-destructive editing, because this contributor wanted to work on this, made a JSON project on this, and it was a success. So I just changed plans basically, and that's how things go. It's flexible development.